Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your angel reading for May. Sorry I haven't been on. I had to take a break. We're going to get into your reading. So, for our past card for April, we have progress. You made progress this month. It could have been progress in a relationship. It's the Two of Wands, progress. It could have been progress in work. For your present situation, we have the Death card. It is the end of something. But let's get into the past. So we're using the Angel Tarot. And this is by Jane Wallace. I don't read the cards from the book to be boring. It's just I try to remain objective because I don't want to project whatever's going on in my life onto the whole Scorpio collective when I am just one Scorpio. So with Two of Wands, we have progress, discovery, partnerships, planning. This was in the past. It says that this too sees you meeting a kindred spirit, possibly a romantic partner, friend, or colleague who broadens your vision and inspires you to think innovatively. So you met somebody in April who you got along with, and y'all could have enjoyed hanging out with each other, but they inspired new ideas in your head. You could have talked to somebody about philosophy or religion. It says this partnership offers ideas, inspiration, and unexpected opportunities. As you begin to glimpse the bigger picture and see how you might develop your skills, you may also be drawn to explore a particular interest and commit to learning. So, some of you could have been going to school in April, maybe picking up a new interest. Education is an additional meaning of this card. This too also asks you to invest time in planning, so make the most of your time and energy. So some of you could have been doing a lot of planning, a lot of organizing in the month of April. Now for the present, for May, we do have the Death card, and a lot of people get scared when they see the Death card. They're like, oh, am I going to die? And death doesn't always mean somebody's going to die. Death can mean the end of a relationship, the end of a situation. It does not have to mean literal death. So let's see what that says. The archangel, well, the angel of transformation brings endings. So yes, there really is an angel of death, but you're not dying. Something is ending. The angel of transformation brings endings, signified by the plucking of a flower and the setting sun and scythe. If we cannot let go of what is no longer right for us, the universe intervenes and makes a choice we often cannot make for ourselves. This card's number, X111, is traditionally unlucky. However, it reduces to 4. 1 plus 3 equals 4, the number of stability when change is complete. And the affirmation for this death card is, I embrace change and new beginnings. I embrace change and new beginnings. So that's what you're doing this month of May. Endings, beginnings, profound change, emotional attachments, severing ties, loss, renewal, rebirth. So you're letting go of a situation or a certain person in May. So the angel of transformation brings a gift of transition into a new phase. It does not mean physical death. So there are other cards out there that do mean death, and I forget exactly what those cards were, but this is not it. This card in particular does not mean death. This card reveals the death or ending of old ways. So some of you are letting go of your old ways. Somebody could be deciding to stop running the streets and to start going to church. There's all sorts of meanings to this. You may say goodbye to a relationship, home, or work situation, and often this may not be your choice. So, I was learning about this in church one week, and we were talking about how sometimes when we don't do what we're supposed to do, the universe will intervene for us on our behalf. So, some of you could be in bad situations where you don't want to end something with someone in May and somebody ends it for you. Either the other person ends it or maybe a concerned friend helps you end it. Yet, as you feel the loss, part of you will know that this change is necessary to flourish. You need to be elsewhere to flourish. You need to be elsewhere. So, it kind of reminds me of a flower, and we have different quotes. I think there's one person that says, a flower should be able to flourish anywhere. Well, that's not true. Flowers need good soil, they need water, and they need sunlight. So, you could be being moved to another place where you can flourish because it says to flourish, you need to be elsewhere. As the angel clears out the old in readiness for the new, an additional meaning is decluttering your home and cleansing your space. So, the other thing you could be doing in May is cleansing your space, cleansing your house, getting rid of things you don't need, or wherever you live, cleansing that space. Could be getting rid of old habits. Now, for June, we have burdens, 10 of wands, 10 of wands, okay? 10 of wands. So you're going through some sort of burdens in June. Priorities, pressure. You could be feeling overwhelmed, burdened by too much responsibility at work, overloaded with domestic demands, or juggling both. You may feel that you've lost sight of where you're going, given the pressure to get things done. If so, you need to take a step back because you're not responsible for everything and everyone. For some, this 10 can also be a moment of realization. It's not possible or fair to you to try to do everything at once, and it's time to lay down some of those wands. So, some of you need to get better at scheduling. You may have started scheduling things in May, but then in June it gets hectic, either hectic with your work or doctor's appointments or friendships. Something becomes hectic in June, and you're being advised to lay down some of those wands. So you can't be in two places at one time, right? If you're working two jobs, you can't work the morning shift at Pizza Hut and Walmart, or wherever you work. Um, if you have doctor's appointments, you can't have an appointment for cardiology scheduled at the same time as an appointment for nephrology, your kidneys. You can't have them both at the same time. You have to let go of some of these appointments to reschedule them, or you have to let go of some of these commitments to other jobs. Maybe if you're working two jobs, you could be part-time with one job and part-time with another, but you can't burn both ends of the candle in June. So an additional interpretation is overthinking card. And if this is the first card up in a reading, okay, that doesn't apply to this. But so some of you could be overthinking in June, overthinking about something, some sort of decision, and you're just overthinking it instead of just going ahead and doing it. Now, for your attitude for May, we have independence, Independence, Queen of Swords. So Queen of Swords, somebody who's very independent. That card always reminds me of Judge Judy. You know how Judge Judy doesn't care what anyone else thinks because it's her courtroom, and she will tell people what she thinks, and she doesn't care what they have to say about what she thinks. So you have independence, perception, strength, and determination in May. So as an individual, this queen has a fast mind and a sharp tongue. While she is respected for her strength of character, she may be unreasonable, asking too much of herself or of others. So some of you are being too hard on yourself in May, okay? You're just being too hard on yourself and too hard on other people. And that's usually what happens, right? Sometimes when we're too hard on ourselves, we are hard on other people as well. It says she often arrives in a reading to indicate women who are highly self reliant. This may be women in relationships with demanding careers, those in leadership positions, or single women and single parents. Regarding a situation, this queen suggests you to call upon inner strength and logic rather than emotion. So some of you could be focused on logic over emotion in May. For example, you may want to be in a relationship with somebody and you're thinking, well, my heart tells me I love this person, but logically it wouldn't work out because he's a dog person and I'm a cat person. Just some sort of logic going on. It's saying you need to rely on your logic. And I think this applies to your words as well, because you could let your emotions dictate what you say to somebody, or you could decide to approach a situation based on logic and think about how whatever it is you may want to say may not help the situation. And if you're using your brain or your mind, you think about what would help this situation, maybe walking away. And that's just an example. Now, with your influences, we have the Judgment card for May, and this is the Angel of the Past. I have another tarot deck that basically describes judgment as letting you know that you are stronger than you think you are. That is another meaning of the Judgment card. You are stronger than you think you are. So some of you are drawing upon some sort of inner strength. You are stronger than you think you are. You're single in May, or you don't have somebody, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but you're still able to be strong because you are stronger than you think you are. But the other meanings of this card are also says the Angel of the Past evokes last judgment when souls were called for reckoning. The angel uses a trumpet to blow a judgment call, a spiritual awakening. Some of you could be having a spiritual awakening. It's time to wake up to who we truly are and to assess our past actions. The dolphins leaping from the water are our past selves, or people or situations returning as memories. So you could be having memories about somebody that's influencing you to be in this Queen of Swords mode in May. Not that it's a good or a bad thing. It takes time to get over people. Numbered XX, judgment reduces to 2. 2 plus 0 is 2, the number of balance and decisions. And the power affirmation for this is I forgive. You could be forgiving somebody, and that's how you're stronger than you think you are. Maybe you thought you couldn't forgive a certain person, but you do forgive them. You just don't want it to happen again, possibly with that Queen of Swords energy. So the Angel of the Past sees you looking back before you finally move on. You may need to forgive yourself or someone else or decide if a person or situation deserves a second chance. The past may in some way come back so that you can resolve an issue that is affecting you now. The card is also a call to spiritual service and can be a sign that you are connecting with guides and angels to shed light upon an old situation or relationship. And the angel message for this is to look back without regret and learn from past mistakes. Okay. And it kind of reminds me of Simba in The Lion King, when the monkey took the thing and he hit Simba's head and Simba said, "Ow, that hurt." And um but then he tried to do it a second time and Simba ducked and he was basically trying to tell Simba that we learn from the past. He said something about after he said that hurts, the monkey said, "Yes, the past can hurt, but we can either run from it or we can learn from it." And he swung the thing, and that was when Simba ducked. So Simba had learned to watch the monkey and make sure he didn't hit him in the head. Now, your obstacle right now is the Empress, Angel of Abundance. Angel of Abundance. You could be having some sort of obstacle as far as getting to abundance. Okay, you're trying to be at peace with yourself in May because the power affirmation for this card is I'm abundant and at peace with myself. So, this card represents happiness, fertility, love, beauty, nurturing, stability, generosity. The Empress is love in action. Love is shown to you, or you demonstrate to others how much you care for them. Family and romantic relationships flourish under her influence, and the card can also predict motherhood. Overall, the Empress brings you closer to nature and fertility, literally or in terms of new ideas. You may be inspired to tend to creative projects, and there's financial stability and growth too, as money flows and is managed well. The Empress can also represent a female partner in a reading. So it could be that there's a certain female blocking you from being with somebody. That could be another reason this person is in the blockage card. Maybe somebody you're dealing with has a baby mama. Um, but the angel message for this card is to appreciate what you have and keep nurturing what you want to see grow. So some of you may be having difficulty appreciating what you have, maybe too focused on the future or something else, but this is one of the blockages. It's either a person or a blockage expressing love, or it's a blockage with appreciating things. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people, when they don't feel good, it's hard for them to feel thankful because they don't feel good. If someone feels sick, they don't really feel thankful. I mean, they may feel thankful for their bed or whatever helps them, but you get what I'm trying to say. They're not going to be making a book about what they're thankful for if they feel bad. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you don't feel thankful in the month of May. But like I said, this Empress can represent other blockages, like another woman or expressing love. Maybe you have feelings for somebody, but you have trouble expressing them. You don't want to express them. Now, with the outcome, we get Angel of Integrity. Angel of Integrity. This is the Justice card. This is the outcome for May, some sort of justice. It could be a court case. I'm not really sure. The power affirmation for this card is I have a balanced outlook and treat others fairly. Okay. So it could be that you've learned so much in the month of May that you start having a balanced outlook about life and you treat others fairly. So you're kind of becoming the type of person that you don't judge. You may be the type of friend that's like, "Hey, you can tell me about it. I won't judge." And you really don't, because everything you've learned, or all your growth, all of your spiritual growth has led you to this point in time where you don't judge people. You just see people for who they are, but you don't see them as good or bad. You see them as good and bad. People have good and bad qualities. So the angel of integrity's sword stands for punishment in the scales, compassion. A fair decision must be made. You could be making a decision about something. The angel of integrity's number is V111, the number of change, the consequence of a decision. So the key words for this are justice, law, balance, morals, truth, decisions, fairness, authority. So the angel of integrity can indicate a legal decision, or that you will see the truth of a matter another way. If you deserve justice, you will have it. If you don't, you may be called to account for your actions. Equally, the card may show that someone close to you is guilty of hypocrisy or has tried to discredit or mislead you. And if so, that person will be exposed. So someone could be getting exposed in May. It also indicates that you should give fair attention to your work-life balance. So fairness and truth are important to you now. Seek the answers you need and accept the facts. So try not to get your emotions involved in this, and accept the facts. I mean, if something happened, it happened. Accept the facts. What you don't see coming in May is a love offer. Ace of Cups, love offer. Okay? Now, this doesn't have to be love from a person. It could be you feeling love for yourself. You could be sitting under a tree somewhere. You could be enjoying nature, and all of a sudden you're like, after all of this work you did, with the judgment card, you're sitting somewhere and you're like, "Hey, I love myself." But this Ace of Cups card means love, fertility, emotions, and beginnings. This ace brings love, plenty, and fresh starts. Emotions and creative ideas flow as you begin new projects or relationships. You're guided by your heart and passions just now, and will be feeling strongly in touch with your imagination and intuitive side. This ace can also reveal fertility and the birth of a child or a project. So some of you could be giving birth this month and you don't know it. Like you could have a specific due date and your child comes early or later, or maybe they do come on their due date. I don't know. But you're also going to have a happy feeling of togetherness within yourself. Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier with that self love, and within existing relationships. Nurture whatever brings you happiness. Okay, so that's your advice for that card. You're going to have all these things happening in May, but between all of these things happening, you need to do things that you love. Okay, go to the beach, go outside, do something you enjoy. If you like to read cards, do something you enjoy and something you love. So that's all I have for you, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I really don't use the angel cards that much. I've been using the generic cards, and I just didn't like using the generic cards, because when I did use the generic cards, it was too much about relationships, too much drama, and I'm not about that. Like, I'm not about making people upset. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to come on here and make people upset, like I want people to be happy. But I hope you guys have a good month, and mind your P's and Q's. Make sure you're doing the right thing, because you don't want to be the one going to court, whoever that was with that justice card, okay? Thank you. Have a good night.